Welcome to Strip Cover Lit, where we squeeze the bigger. Welcome to Strip Cover Lit, where we squeeze the bigger picture out of literature. I'm Adrian Ford, and today we are here for the where are we now? I've got a list beside me, 37th, I think, 37th writer's quote in the writer's quote playlist here on the channel, where what we do is we take a quote that might be craft related, might be discipline related, might be semi inspirational. I'm not real big on the inspirational stuff, but I think there's a place for it. The discipline itself of writing, we take some quote about something therein, about something thereof, and sort of see what we can squeeze out of it. And so today is a quote, but it's not a quote. There's a quote with a lesson, with a title, with all sorts of things, because we're getting it here from the Daily Stoic. If you are a fan of things like Stoicism, if you are maybe interested in what it is that is in the Daily Stoic, there is a link in the drop-down box to my personal channel where I will be doing a video every day, or every week, pardon me, because I am following the Daily Stoic every day. So sort of at the end of each week, on each Friday, I will be summing up what it is that week sort of taught me. So this week's writer's quote 37, is from the January 3rd entry to the Daily Stoic. The title is "Be Ruthless to the Things That Don't Matter." The quote itself is from Seneca on the brevity of life. The quote from Seneca reads as such: "How many have laid waste to your life when you weren't aware of what you were losing? How much was wasted in pointless grief, foolish joy, greedy desire, and social amusements? How little of your own was left to you? You will realize you are dying before your time." That again is from Seneca in On the Brevity of Life. And the little bit of commentary that we get from Ryan Holiday afterwards reads as such: "One of the hardest things to do in life is to say no. To invitations, to requests, to obligations, to the stuff that everyone else is doing. Even harder is saying no to certain time-consuming emotions: anger, excitement, distraction, obsession, lust. None of these impulses feels like a big deal by itself, but run amok, they become a commitment like anything else. If you're not careful, these are precisely the impositions that will overwhelm and consume your life. Do you ever wonder how you can get some of your time back? How you can feel less busy? Start by learning the power of no. As in, no, thank you, and no, I'm not going to get caught up in that, and no, I just can't right now. It may hurt some feelings, it may turn people off, it may take some hard work, but the more you say no to the things that don't matter, the more you can say yes to the things that do. This will let you live and enjoy your life, the life that you want." So there are two really sort of directions in which we can pursue this. The first is minor, but a major craft lesson. The major craft lesson, I think, is that no, there's all sorts of words that don't belong in your story. No, there's all sorts of side quests that your character could endure that do not belong in your novel. I think that learning to take a story from A to B is one of the most crucial elements to a writer, because there is all sorts of stuff, all sorts of fat that can be trimmed on any piece of writing. But the main thing that I want to talk about, the main thing that made me want to talk about this Daily Stoic in the Writer's Quote series here on the channel, is saying no to other projects. Creative types, we're like squirrels. We're always halfway through a sunflower seed, and we're already a quarter way towards the peanut. We don't like to finish things, and when we do get in the habit of finishing things, we don't like to focus. So I think part of the, for me anyway, part of the problem, I can't even finish sentences for Christ's sake. Listen to me go. Part of the problem for me is I will get halfway through a project, normally short stories for me, and I'll start thinking, oh my God, this is going nowhere. I'll finish it, but I've got one foot on the sidewalk and the other in the street. I don't finish novel projects because of this same thing. I convince myself that my writing, I can finish it. I'll finish it. I'll get done with it. It'll be a good story to me. But I'll convince myself that it is absolutely worthless and not worth being published, and no one else would ever read it ever because I'm an idiot. And if it's an idiot writing things, why would anyone else want to read it? So another part of it is that, look, just Google creativity versus focus. If you Google creativity versus focus, you'll see all of the different articles that pop up, all of the different videos that have been made, all of the different opinions on this, because the two seem to be opposites. The two seem to be arch nemeses. The idea of focusing versus focusing versus creating is that if you are the creative type, there's almost no way to put a governor. So, you know what a governor is on a car? So a car, say a car is made and it's able to go, I got this from Goggins, okay, David Goggins. A car is made and it's able to go 130 miles an hour. That is exactly what the machinery of the car is capable of doing, but the manufacturer says, no, if this son of a bitch gets over 90, it's not going to last. So the car can do it, but the manufacturer puts a governor on it to keep it from going 130, making it top out at 90. If you have a creative mind, it is almost unfathomable to you to put a governor on it. And I think part of it is that there is a great sort of paranoia, maybe, that if you put that governor on there, if you decide not to create everything that comes through your mind, that passes through your brain, if you decide to say no to something, you may never get it back. Not that project. And maybe never anything else either. So a lot of creative types are the types that are not able to put a governor on their mind and simply can't stop having ideas. And I think a lot of, if you want to learn about that, Jordan Peterson does a whole lot of talks, a whole lot of writing about creative types. And one of the things that you will notice if you listen to Jordan Peterson for more than 30 seconds is that he will mention something called the Pareto principle, or the Pareto rule, or the Pareto distribution, something like that, depending on how he's feeling that day. So what it says is that a very small proportion, the square root of all successful things is the number of people from whom the creativity springs. Very few people write all of the successful songs. Very few people are responsible for all of the best-selling books. Think Stephen King. If Stephen King croaked tomorrow, how many other people would be able to publish books, right? But one of the things that happens is as you become successful with something, more opportunity is laid at your doorstep. But here's another reason that the Pareto principle holds up. There's two reasons, actually, I think, if you're looking at the creative type people. Number one, most creatives never finish anything, right? For every book that Stephen King writes, there's some creative that has a quarter of a novel tucked away in his top drawer. Because all of these creative types waste all of this creative effort and never finish, the opportunity is left for fewer and fewer people. B, those people who do finish things, Stephen King, once he finishes that novel, he's already, because he's a creative type, halfway through the next 3 books. So if you really want to sum things up, Google that creativity versus focus, like I said. I'll do it periodically just to see if anything new has popped up or if there's anything interesting happening in the field. But normally, it's just the same article repurposed. Basically, all that you'll learn is that focus is a superpower for creative types. What is the power? What is the worth? What is the merit? What is the value of running through the second draft of a short story versus finishing the first draft of a second short story? So anything that you're going to publish, anything that you're going to submit for publication, you're going to want to run it through at least 3 drafts. The good part is, normally, each successive draft takes less time than the previous. You already sort of know where you're going, so you're not rewriting an entire short story on that second draft. And on the third draft, mainly what you're doing, mainly what I do on my third drafts, is I'm looking for readability. I'm trying to make sure that what I've put on the paper is something that someone can actually understand, right? Because I'm so close to it that I can understand it. I know what's going on there. Because I know what's coming next, I understand what this sentence means. So the third draft is something that normally takes a whole lot less time than the first draft. So if you look at things mathematically, writing 2 complete stories, meaning 2 short stories with 3 total drafts, 6 drafts complete, is taking the same amount of time, probably, again, this isn't scientific, but probably about the same amount of time as 3 first drafts. 3.5 first drafts. So, if you have 2 products completed, 2 short stories completed versus 3 short stories in the first draft, you've got more work done with the 2 in the same amount of time as the 3. Does any of that make sense? Should I have gone through a third draft with this video? Again, I think that the power of saying no to projects can simply be what I have in one of my folders on my computer is about 20 novels of ideas. And that's just sort of because I don't finish novels, right? It's what I'm able to, the ones that I am able to say, okay, this is a novel idea, not a short story. Short stories, I've probably written 150 short stories. But what you can do in order to facilitate the focus problem, the focus answer, the focus solution, is to keep a folder, to keep a file, to keep a notebook of loose ends, of first ideas, of just these little sparkling emeralds of what might become, these little germs of what might become a pearl. The pearls of what might become a pearl bracelet. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But that is all I have for this, the 37th video in the Writer's Quote series. Doing at this point 1 of these a month. So we will see how far we get And yeah, I hope to see you in the next video.